Okay, I'm going to discuss this now in more detail with Sanjay Hegde. He's, of course, a very well-known lawyer, senior counsel. Mr. Hegde, thanks so much for joining us here on ET Now. This is the big story at this hour, which is, post-exit polls, while the opposition members are getting together to perhaps keep Narendra Modi out of office. The exit polls are showing that may be very difficult, if not impossible. A day later, you are seeing Shivraj Chauhan of the BJP talking about Kamal Nath government of the Congress being in minority in Madhya Pradesh, demanding a special session. I wanted to ask you that as per law, what does it require for the governor to ever agree to call for a special session? Under what circumstances is a special session called in a state assembly?
If the governor arrives at a satisfaction that the government in power does not command a majority on the floor of the House, he can always request the Chief Minister to to get a special session called to prove his majority on the floor of the House. But having said that, we must remember that we are a parliamentary democracy. We are not an exit poll democracy. Today, there is no evidence as yet that any member of the Legislative Assembly who supports the government has withdrawn support, nor is there any concrete evidence which is being offered that circumstances have suddenly arisen which show that the government no longer commands the majority in the House. In those circumstances, I doubt very much that the governor can do anything drastic. Unlike the old days, governor's actions also get challenged on the floor in judicial review, and especially any unwarranted references to president's rule. Long ago, Mr. Mohan Kumar Mangalam, way back in the 1960s, said that a governor who receives such a letter must simply say, you please go to the assembly whenever it is convenient and your motions there. The Raj Bhavan cannot become an alternative legislative assembly.
You know, like you said, this is not an exit poll democracy. We are a parliamentary democracy. We are also supposed to be discerning enough to understand the difference between the elections that take place at the state and, of course, at the center. The timing is, of course, very curious. All of these developments taking place a day after the exit polls. Even if you were to look at the pie chart that's going to come up on the screen for the state assembly, we had seen a tug of war of sorts in Madhya Pradesh. The exit polls showing the NDA at an advantage in Madhya Pradesh. Mr. Hegde, the point I'm trying to get at is there are already murmurs that it's not just going to be Madhya Pradesh, but there are a lot of other states, not a lot, a few other states that are on shaky ground, and that if the Narendra Modi government were to return to power, we could see a few states fall. One of them is Karnataka. The other one that's doing the rounds, as the rumor mill, is, for example, Rajasthan. The Prime Minister, during campaigning, also threatened Mamata Banerjee, saying that your people are already in touch with me. They are wanting to defect, see what happens after election. What do you make of all of this? Because from what you're telling me, the law is very different. It's not going to be easy. They're going to have to prove to the governor, perhaps in writing, that they do enjoy majority for any floor test to also be called. Something we saw recently in Karnataka as well.
So, unless people start resigning from the assembly, and then the majority of the government comes in question, there is not enough concrete evidence for the governor to suddenly say, on a whim, you call the assembly immediately. There has to be concrete material which is placed before the governor. As to how it is going to be placed or how it is going to be worked out, we will have to let the dynamics of the situation work itself out. Especially after a central election, which shows a particular historic movement in politics. Then all these realignments in forces happen. It happened in 1977 when Mrs. Gandhi lost the election. The new Janata government came in and advised all the serving chief ministers who were of the Congress to resign. Some of the chief ministers challenged it in court at that point of time, and unsuccessfully. Now it's not a question of the party needing to resign. The defection of in these particular assemblies, the majority is finely balanced that the defection of even a few members can make the ruling government lose its majority on the floor of the House. As to how this retail defection takes place is yet to unfold. But if retail defection takes place in
Mr. Hegde, I also want to lean on your legal expertise, and as a political observer as well, Mr. Hegde. We had seen this entire trend in the 90s, for example, where defections had become very popular, and then we had seen certain laws that came out for defection. Of late, the realities have changed. For example, look at resort politics, how, MLAs, MPs and all are locked up in resorts and kept out of sight. They literally held. The time has once again come where India needs to revisit the laws it has for defecting politicians?
Well, I actually am a bit of a cynic on this. This is not a matter for law to take care of. It is a matter for the political system itself to take care of. If a member of the Legislative Assembly or a member of Parliament defects, I think voters need to punish him. Until our polity evolves to that situation, this kind of trying to handle things by law is not really working, because you have had workarounds the law. You first had a requirement that 1/3 of the legislative party needed to defect. You brought it up to 2/3. Now people decided to get over it by introducing innovations like Operation Kamala in Karnataka, where instead of the member defecting and then losing his membership, he decided to resign his seat. So when there is a resignation in the House, then the requirement of the number of MLAs comes down, and as a consequence, a party which does not initially have a complete majority, can come to a majority. Let's take the Madhya Pradesh situation. Supposing there are 122 on the Congress side and about 120 on the BJP side, you get 2 Congress MLAs to resign. The number comes down, or you get 3 of them to resign. So the number on the Congress side would come down to 119, but the BJP remains constant, 120. The majority shifts, and the BJP takes claim. So these are all the little games that our politicians and our lawyers have got together and got around to getting workarounds the defection law. So my submission is that it's no more a question of law, it's a question of political morality, and it is a question of political cost. If somebody is told that the cost of defection is a permanent exile from politics, only then will this kind of floor crossing stop.
Mr. Hegde, on that front, we need a vibrant democracy. For that, you need a strong opposition. But I will differ on the fact that, any one defection will lead to political expulsion for life, unless it's decided by the voter, because people are also, as part of democracy, allowed to change their minds, right? But having said that, thank you so much for joining us here and putting it